Hey football fans, Kuram here again on agentdodo.com. Hopefully you are enjoying the website and you guys are checking it out often and checking out the other posts as well other than football that I have on it. But of course, the only thing that I need to talk about right now is the FA Cup final that is happening on the 14th of May 2011. Only in a couple of hours, a little late with this video, busy with other things, but still Stoke City versus Manchester City. The Potters versus the guys from Eastlands, the Citizens. It's going to be David versus Goliath. Goliath in terms of the amount of money that Manchester City has, their oil-rich shake, and all the money that he spent, compared to Stoke City being owned by a local businessman who's actually a bookmaker and has been slowly but steadily been doing some good business and getting Stoke City 8th in the Premier League currently. They came to the Premier League about 2008, end of 2008 season, and they've been doing very well under Tony Pulis. If I had a hat, I would take it off to the manager that is Tony Pulis. A lot of people obviously do not like the tactics of Stoke City, a very, very physical team, always using the aerial route. Do not let those talented players on the ball always knock the ball upfield. And with the addition of Kenwyne Jones, they have been pretty good this season. They've been pretty excellent the last 9 games that they've had so far. They only have lost once in the last 9 games of any competition, have 5 wins, so they've been pretty good, and they cemented their 8th spot in the Premier League. And hopefully, I'm hoping they can actually get a win. Couple things I wanted to mention in this video is obviously a lot of pundits, a lot of people are saying this is going to be a very physical match and we can expect 2 big teams. I mean, think about the height of Stoke City. They got the highest average height of their players in the Premier League at 186 centimeters. Manchester City, on the other hand, are not too short themselves. Their average height for all their players is 183.1 centimeters. So a lot of tall players, a lot of physical battles are going to happen. Robert Huth not going to be there maybe for Stoke City, has a little bit of a knee injury, but he could come back. Matthew Etherington, though, is out with a hamstring injury for Stoke City. If you think about other things that are going to be keys for success for Stoke City, is set pieces, set pieces, set pieces, and set pieces. Nothing but set pieces. That is what Stoke City, that's what Tony Pulis has to rely on. If you look at the fact that 48% of their goals this term, I think 26 out of 48 attempts have gone in for them on set pieces. 48% of the goals have come from set pieces. If you look at Manchester City, only 23.1% of their goals have come from set pieces. And if you look at headed goals, Manchester City have one of the lowest amount of headed goals. Only 2 headed goals all season long. Manchester City have 8 penalties in from which they've scored goals at, whereas you look at Stoke City overall in the Premier League, they have 11 headed goals, and 6 out of the 14 goals in the FA Cup have come off the head of a Stoke City player. So you got to think that Manchester City and Roberto Mancini will be telling his defenders like Colo Torre, well, Colo Torre is suspended, so he won't be playing, Yaya Torre and Lescott and company, not to give away cheap fouls in and around the box of Manchester City's of Stoke City's offensive area. So they're doing sure not to give away cheap fouls. I think with Kenwyne Jones having 5 goals in 6 matches, it's going to be tough for Lescott and co to handle. I think Jermaine Pennant's going to give Korolov a little bit of an issue. That's going to be a fun thing to watch. We saw Jermaine Pennant score that amazing goal last weekend against Arsenal when Stoke City won 3-1. So they're coming into this with a high. That same weekend, Manchester City lost to Everton, but then in the midweek, they were able to defeat Tottenham with a good goal. Obviously, we saw Carlos Tevez return to action just for like 7 minutes. So he's the key for Manchester City. If they can get their Argentine back in and a little healthy, he is the stimulus for offense for Manchester City, the captain, Carlos Tevez, because it looks like Zenko and Balotelli might be starting though for Manchester City the way the team sheets looks like right now. You might remember that in 1981 it was Manchester City versus Tottenham in the FA Cup final. And I think they lost 3-2 with an Argentine named Ricky Vale, or Valle, or whatever his name is. He scored 2 goals for Tottenham and helped Tottenham beat them 3-1. FA Cup final last time they came in second. I think it was a League Cup in '81 for Manchester City. But in 1969 they made a final as well, and that's when they won an FA Cup final. So if they win this one, it'll be the first time they won the FA Cup since 1969. If you look at Stoke City, they've only won a League Cup in 1972. It was against Chelsea when they won 2-1 in 1972. Stoke City have been to the semi-finals of the FA Cup 3 times, twice one time in 1970-71 and then 71-72. In 70-71 they came 3rd, and in 71-72 they came 4th, because in the FA Cup they had the 3rd place playoff at that time. And you have to go way back to 1898-1899 season season to see Stoke City in a semi-final, so I think this is going to be a good one for Stoke City to win if they can. If Manchester City win, it'll be the first piece of silverware they have for the last 35 years, and you know Roberto Mancini needs to show something that he's done this season. I think the pressure is on Manchester City more than Stoke City. Stoke City can just go out, play their natural physical game, try to keep the ball in the air, trying to keep the very talented David Silva, the very talented Adam Johnson off the ball, and if it gets into the 90, if it gets to extra time like it could, Stoke City have a chance. Pressure is on Roberto Mancini to win this. Pressure is on Manchester City's players to win this. The pressure is off Stoke City. They did well in the semi-finals against Bolton 5-0, where Manchester City defeated Manchester United 1-0. If you look at last year's FA Cup, Stoke City defeated Manchester City over 2 games, a replay, and they needed extra time to beat them. So my money is on this game going into extra time, and I think Stoke City just might nick it in the end, and Stoke City getting their first piece of silver, which would be very good for all the Stoke City fans out there. And they're also going to Europa League next year, so that's going to be awesome for Tony Pulis as a manager and his team Stoke City. So that's what I think is going to happen. It's going to go to extra time, head-to-head, just one last thought, head-to-head, Manchester City and Stoke City. Stoke lead in that department with 2 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss. 1 win for City. So I hope Manchester City will lose to Stoke City. I think it's going to go to extra time and maybe even penalties. Stoke City to nick it in the end. And today, in like an hour or so, the match starts between Blackburn and Manchester United. And I think Manchester United are going to get that 1 point they need to lift the 19th league title for themselves. Their 12th under Sir Alex Ferguson, their 12th Premier League title. I just cannot wait for that feeling. Can't wait for that match. Hopefully you like this video. I think Stoke City are going to be crowned champions of the FA Cup. Unlikely as it is, I think they're going to win. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Till then, next time. Bye.